Hey everyone, this is Tappers here again, and welcome back to the Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland Let's Play. When we last left off, Kirby was being dragged into Grape Garden by a bunch of balloons, and landed face first into a cloud, kind of like in the other games like Kirby's Dreamland and Kirby's Dreamland 2, but without support of animal buddies and lack of abilities. So, after our very close battle with Mr. Shine and Mr. Bright, along with somehow not dying to that palette swap of Waddle Dee, or as I guess I could call him D Waddle because he's a hipster yo, we start off this part by dying on the beginning of the second screen. But it's like that, but that's okay because I didn't have much health left anyway. I was about to say life, but whatever. We also get a palette swap of Do Waddle, or Waddle Do, I should say. There's really no differences. It's just the games tend to do this later on in the series, have palette swaps. And hey, we get the reappearance of UFO because why the heck not? And it's pretty helpful here because, or on this next screen, because there's a ton of star blocks, and if we can properly charge all the way, we can blast through pretty much everything with what could be the equivalent of the later beam power-ups charge shot, but what can you do? Also, I never paid any mind to those sleeping enemies. Those, I believe, are called... what the heck were those things called? It's Naughty, that's what they're called. And they give the ever so useless sleep ability, which I don't think you need to ask what it does, because, I mean, people will say it's the worst power-up ever, but, well, I like it because it has a nightcap, which is pretty cool, and, well, visually I like it, but that's about it. And then I guess a certain later game of the series will add some interesting traits, kind of with some Pokemon logic, which is pretty nice. But now I mentioned earlier that, oh yeah, and this is also the first time we win Bomb Rally, and Kirby is so happy. Sorry, I have to do that, but anyway, I was talking about sleep power-up, but in Squeak Squad, I believe it acts kind of like the Pokemon move Rest, if you have like some scroll or whatever. I've never played Squeak Squad, so I only am going by what I've heard on like some elements, so there is that. This is also the point, well, actually I mentioned this in Butter Building, which is playing the music for this stage, which is kind of odd. I mean, it's nice considering we are in a building setting, but speaking of buildings, I can't get to this building because apparently the fire is clearly not able to hit that bomb block when it really should. Like, come on. Half of the block is being smothered in fire, but I guess we'll just have to settle with using Spark or something else. And I do apologize for the random clicking you're hearing in the sound, but at some point, I'm going to have to get myself a new headset because I have a feeling, and I've said this probably in the last part, which was recorded about a week ago, that maybe this headset's on the fritz, but I couldn't really say for sure. Also, fun fact about enemies that can't swim and die when they touch the water, they take like 10 years to explode, and you will get hurt if you touch them while you're in the water. Kind of like normal enemies. I did die once because it took forever for the Poppy Bros to explode, and yeah, it was kind of a sad way to lose a life, but what can you do? I never really mentioned, now one interesting thing, you see these spikes that are littered in this part of the stage. Actually, I shouldn't say this yet because it would be foreshadowing, but yeah, there's that. But this is one of our only cases of having dual mini-bosses, or at least dual Poppy Bros Seniors. Not often does the Kirby series throw two mini-bosses at once at you. I know it does do that in one of the sub-games of, what's it called? Kirby Superstar. But it's not exactly important right now. What is important is that we stash this crash ability for the next stage, because we could definitely use that. We could also use yet another 1-up by being number 1. Kirby is number 1 because he's adorable and everything like that. But now I mentioned in level 3 butter building that we do eventually start. I'm not sure why I skipped that. Maybe I confused that with being the arena or something, but that's the duel. So yeah. Oh, fun fact, you can use Crash to actually light the fuse. I didn't actually know that, and I just realized, oh, did I just take the Crash ability and waste it or something like that? But, you learn something new, so that's pretty cool. We also get the first time listening to the Air Raid theme, or the Sky Battalion theme, because we have to freedom this planet, you know? Yeah, I don't know why I even bothered with that reference, but I mean, we're going across blimps, airships, and all that. Fortunately, it doesn't involve fighting a stupid character in the game that is completely unnecessary and a complete jackass. I could rant about it, but I don't see really any point, so I've already said too much. But there are some... In that segment, there's actually several doors. I did skip one, mostly because when I was practicing, I missed the secret the first time because I didn't go far enough, and it's kind of hard at times to tell how far you actually need to go in order to reach the secret, but it's whatever. But yeah, we need to hang on for dear life because the Sky Battalion is leaving without us, and we crash land into more Cloudy Park, except not really. And I may or may not have said this before, but this is the part of the game where it's... The part of the game, yes, where enemies start to get really nasty and sporadic. Like, that's... Pigma, that's why I'm going to call it Pigma. I know that's not its actual name. It just randomly just decides to just fly into me for no reason. And just, I mean, yeah, sometimes the Brunel Birds do that, but it's like, it's really annoying. And get some more ball power up, which I still like for some odd reason, because I got through that without getting hurt. Can't say the same here because we got a bunch of these baby chicks just flying around and swarming me like nobody's business. And speaking of annoying, here's an not required segment, but if you want to get a little secret, not a required secret, you need to take wheel and race the explosion all the way down. Unfortunately, I completely failed. Also, there's a secret there, but I didn't grab it because I was really pissed off that I screwed this up. But if you make it all the way there, you get a 1-up and you get a few other things. I don't know if you get UFO. I did it once, and pretty much taking a death is kind of not worth it. But speaking of worth it, oh my god, I found a Fanfy! No, I didn't find a Fanfy. But his name is Fan, to be accurate here. He's pretty annoying. Actually, he's kind of a cute mini-boss. But fun fact, in Kirby's Adventure, this mini-boss did not actually exist. Instead, it goes by the name of Rolling Turtle. And it's, well, a turtle and not an elephant, obviously. Which gives you the power of throw, which is really weird because it's kind of like Backdrop, but it isn't. In fact, this is much better because you inhale an object or enemy and you throw a block by either throwing it straight, up, or down, which is basically in a diagonal motion. And then, yeah, it does a lot of damage. It's very rare ability because regular enemies don't drop it, sort of like Backdrop, Mike, and some others. But anyway, I was talking about Rolling Turtle, and one weird thing, and I could be wrong about this, but Rolling Turtle actually appears in the fan game Mega Man Square Root of -X or some. I don't remember the name of it, but it's something that Cheese was playing as a Kirby challenge. And God, this headset is cutting out like crazy, and it's kind of annoying. But sadly, I can't really do much about that right now. Now, it's this point where I do realize that I missed the duel minigame, and I did cut to this part where I made it to King Deity, and guess what? I got into a situation of a draw. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, but 5 times. We now actually get the real matchup with King Deity, and this time we are going to get... I false start. I commit a boo-boo. But, yeah, it's really tough to get to Deity, because it's like the timing does change, which it kind of has to, but anyway, it doesn't matter. It's just a shame I don't get any 1-ups or anything, but yeah, now we head into the arena where we get to fight Bugsy, and... well, he's pretty strong, I'll tell you that. And also, he comboed me into oblivion because I guess he didn't feel like charging. So we're going to skip him because he's a jerk. And we're just going to grab the invincibility candy and wreck everything because I'm angry American Kirby. No, that doesn't make any sense. It's whatever. But, now... I may have cut myself off several times, but I'm going to try to see if I can remember what I was saying. Butter building was the beginning of the secrets in this game, and as we progress through these worlds, we start to see more and more secrets that we have to unlock. I think there's more secrets in this one than before, because World 3 had 2, I want to say, and World 4 here has... I want to say 3 secrets. I could be completely wrong, but it kind of doesn't really matter. But what does matter is we have yet another duel with Meta Knight's crew. And once again, it's another case where I have the freeze power up. And you know, it's a shame we don't actually get to fight Meta Knight. Well, spoiler, we actually will fight Meta Knight, but instead fighting his posse. No, I shouldn't even say posse. But his army of knights, his Knights of the Old Republic, well, not exactly that. But I guess one thing I do like about fighting his minions is that they do have, like, a set ranking, no, not, what's the word I want to say? It's like a set, I can't think of the word. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But what does matter is that I've mentioned before that there's a lot of cheap shotting enemies, and for whatever reason, I just don't learn my lesson to just move on, because that Bronto Burt will just keep following your elevation, and it's kind of annoying. And speaking of, well, not learning and just going, I tried to get through this little area here, but I think it's eventually, after I complete this sub-level, that apparently you can't actually invincibility charge through the spikes, but rather you have to charge through the Gordo. I don't know if I remember it on this attempt here, but I kind of wish I did, and if I would have dashed right through at that point, instead of just damage boosting through everything, I could have done this without losing any lives, but then again, I could have also done it by not backtracking and respawning the Bronto Burt that kept wrecking me, but it's old hat now. So, to try and relieve my frustration, I'm going to see if I can beat Bugsy this time, and with some luck, he won't jump and pile drive me immediately like that, but he kind of does. He doesn't exactly have a pattern, but I mean, fortunately, it only takes 3 of his, well, it'll take a 4th one because he decided to jump immediately after I shot the star at him. But with luck, we get our revenge. We get no, we don't want backdrop because it's kind of lame and all that. Instead, we need to finish up Grape Garden by going into level 6, or 4-6, and more butter building, especially to end the stage, which is kind of odd. And, well, fighting Slippy, because Slippy's a jerk, except he really isn't. Those frogs are cute. One thing I find really unusual about the water segment here is that all those weird dark and white lines that you see there, it almost makes it look like it's a maze. Almost as if you get shrunk and then you can kind of navigate through if you're like a micro mini Kirby mass attack of some variety. But it's whatever it is. Got another reappearance of Sir TikTok Clock of Super Mario 6. No, not even that. But I tend to not like fighting this guy only because a lot of times when you try to jump over him, he just immediately stops and then you just kind of get hurt. But these enemies are going to get the hurting from Mike because we just need to blow everybody's eardrums out and find the last use of the light ability in this game, because you will never use it again after that, at least as far as I remember, and that's only to find out that there's a hidden doorway in the dark that you won't see before getting ambushed when you head right out. That's our reward because we just light power up. And for a moment you might have thought, oh, I'm going to use it again just because, but no, it's a not good ability, as I somehow didn't say originally because I said it was useful when it isn't useful. I'm not sure how I even said that, but I'm just gonna blame that on the fact that I have ADD, I guess, because my attention span is a complete joke. Also, an interesting thing I noted here watching this video again is that you get points for every block that blows up within the time bomb there. It's kind of interesting in some way, but not really that important unless you're going for a high score run, which I kind of hope you don't do because you'd be at it forever, backtracking this respawn enemies and all that other stuff. But we have the boss ready to fight, but for some reason I'm thinking, okay, I should get a power-up for this boss, which, spoiler, I do not use sword because I realized something, but I do show off that you can leave a stage after you've beaten it. Why do I not use this? Well, because they give us high jump, and hey, it's Kracko Jr. that we get to fight. And in a weird turn of events, we actually have to fly all the way to the top, and to make it at least mildly tolerable, we just high jump, land on a cloud, and then whatever. But after we eventually get up there, which takes 10 years, we actually get to fight Kracko Jr., or no, I'm sorry, we actually get to fight Kracko himself, who is pretty easy, all things considered. Somehow I didn't actually get hit by the side of him because I guess it has poor hit detection. And Kracko only has a few attacks compared to Kirby's Dreamland 2, so... Or, well, it's probably going off of his AI in the original adventure, but... Yeah, if you just stick to the safe spot... Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. Apparently, sometimes he can hit you in that corner if the spark shot actually decides to hit you. But all in all, Kracko's a pretty easy boss in this game. Kirby's Dreamland 2, he's much harder. But yeah, that's 4 bosses down. Next time, we'll be going to Yogurt Yard. See you then.